Stream. All right. Okay. So where are we at? The monitor like ever so slightly wobbles. Okay. So we okay. So we pulled a bunch of examples. That is really bright. I don't know if I can do that right there. I'm set up in a new spot, obviously. Right. Okay. So let us take a look at this. So we were looking for places where config class got used that we could dump the object. So I think operation source config class. Let's go. This one is a good target. So why is it so wobbly? It wasn't wobbly earlier today. It's the same table. Ugh, I thought I just fixed this. Okay, so we're in DFML. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay, so we're in DFML operation source, and we want convert records to list. Right, so let's dump that. See what it has to say. Okay. Oh, it doesn't like it in our code that we are currently writing. Okay, so all right, let's make that config. Operation object has no attribute. Config if is instance operation. So if is instance add from operation. We're going to say this equals config class. So actually, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure that the operation has a config class on it, does it? Okay, this is an oversight. I've been wondering this. Okay, here it is, config class. Config class implementation. Config class. Ah, what's this? This looks like a holdover. Okay, so it sets it on. Aha, so it's setting it on the operation implementation, but not on the operation. Just as we'd feared. So in operation, so in operation, I think we should take a config class here. Instance name, config, yeah. And that'll be optional base config. Which is really the same as dict stir definition. Okay. Yeah, the operation has IO and then the implementation has config. Yeah, okay, so we don't put the config on here. Okay. So read get grep op amp in. Okay. df base, read df file, df base. Wow. This is driving me nuts. It shakes. Config class. Okay, so def op amp in. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if this thing is in operation, then attempt to add, let's see, its config. So if it's in operation, op amp in, add from config. Okay, so we have an operation, or we have a system context. We want to expose a method within the system context. So the orchestrator will be above. So if we configure a different implementation, we would configure it in the orchestrator. So this would be purely for the inputs. Okay, great. Well, that answers our question. So we shouldn't have been trying to add the config. That's why we were screwing up. Okay, so config, I think for convenience, yes, but not ideal. Okay, so config equals data classes field. So let's just go ahead and do a little make config here. And so let's see, df base def make config. Right, so where's this used? So let's check out, once again, git grep is always our friend. Make config. We should probably get a few more lines here. Make config inspect. make config inspect might be good. Let's go check that out. Okay. Okay. So, how, really? Did I write this? This looks like something I would write, yet somehow it didn't involve a generator. Now not everybody likes generators. That's fine. I do. I think that they allow you to see the whole bit of code right away, to tell you exactly what the structure looks like instead of you having to try to guess, what for loop does what to what variable. But I understand that not everybody agrees. Um, okay. Okay, we're gonna assume. Okay. Make config inspect. Oh, did I tweet? No, I forgot. We're continuing to build to fix up the CLI/system context calling convention. Or we're continuing to integration of system context execution from CLI. Okay, great. All right, let's see. All right. So, let's see. It's weirdly okay. Let's bump all this in real quick. Okay. Make config. Blow that back up. Okay. Properties update. Make config. So what is this thing called make config with? Okay, so this thing says config equals, so what are we doing here, right? We're making a configuration object from an operation, and then we'll throw this back into its own util. But for now, we're going to do it in line. Self properties, okay. What? If, okay, yeah, so this is just to skip the self parameter here. So we iterate over all of the parameters. We skip any ones named self, just in case the operation is self-referencing, in case it's basically like a method off of something. Effectively, is the way it turns into an operation implementation class and an operation implementation context class. And if you do impinter or ctxinter, those will go on the implementation of the context respectively. So and then you might use self within the function. So for the data flow lifetime. Okay, so make config is, so this was properties. What is name? Okay. Name is the value of, okay, so make config, let's say add from dot instance name plus config. All right, that's our convention. Okay, so and then tuple, we just pasted this thing right in there, right? This is why I like generators, so we can just copy paste the whole thing. So param name, param annotation, inspect. Okay, so param default. So we can do definition. Okay, so where's our definition? Right, so we have input name, and we'll just find replace this param with input. Okay, input name, input annotation. So this would be definition dot definition dot primitive maybe, or no, definition dot. Oof. So yeah, so this is where we need to type. So okay. Suspect links. Okay. And remember, we're doing our little hack on links right now. I don't see anything in definition that easily leads us to. Okay, so this is where we rebuild the spec, which really should allow for a plugin. What do we do here? Yeah, with the create definition. Primitive default equals default. So let's see. Create definition, aimless, get origin, prime annotation, get args, prime annotation, create definition. Okay, so in our class, primitive, spec, so the inputs, okay, so the definitions, the inputs, this is kind of like what we talked about with, let's avoid doing this right now, let's just bail on this whole thing. Okay, let's bail on this whole thing. I don't really want to deal with the CLI anymore. This is too high effort. There's probably a better way that will present itself, because this shouldn't be, I don't think it should be this difficult. So, okay. Operation, okay, so let's, okay. So what did we got here? Okay, so we modified this CLI command to, yeah, iterate over things that were, yeah, we wanted to add, if not system context, so else go through the operation. Okay, yeah, but that's not what we should be doing. So um, instead, okay, and this was the thing I realized earlier, instead of doing the thing that I insisted we do, um, we're going to make this a lot, hopefully, well, okay, I shouldn't say that. Hopefully we'll just make this easier for ourselves by just adding the system context config as the thing that we target here. So add from.config. So we can say git okay. Config equals git attr add from. So try to get config fallback to add from config. So try to get the instance. If not, then grab the class. So, okay, so, or instances. So don't do that on operation. System context config. Object has no attribute qual name. Bullshit. You have no attribute qual name. Since when? Um, okay. Okay. So right off the bat, it basically gets upstream and then it immediately, object has no attribute qual name, so it immediately barfs. Um, and where is it doing that? It's doing that in mkarg. So let's go ahead and throw our little debugger on it so it pops this in this shell because I'm feeling like that's not where we want to be. And now when we have, okay, so here we are. If data class is not a type class equals data class qual name subtype class. Okay, it looks like it's a string actually, so that's part of our issue here. So data class overlay orchestrator type class. Why is that? Let's see. Or so the data class is that the type class is system context config. Okay, so let's go to that function. If is instance type class forward ref. Oh, we forgot to actually do the resolve. Or wait. Type class equals to. So what's data class in this case? Data class has no qual name? Weird. What? Oh, it's an instance of data class, so if data class is, did we test this code? Is, so if is inspect dot is class data class. All right, so we're gonna say, so if inspect is class data class, so data class equals data class if not. Okay, so we'll say here, so in dfml util Python on line 205, we're adding, or line 204, 206 right now. We have this if not inspect is class data class, and then 206 is data class equals data class dot underscore underscore class underscore underscore. And on line 205, we're writing our comment that says check uh, and so I like to put the comments within the block in Python because you can't always, if you have like an if else block, you can't always throw it above, which I think would look cleaner, but it is what it is. So for consistency, I would say, you know, I would advocate for consistency over uh, like fly. Okay, so check if data class is an instance. If so, grab the class, grab a handle on the class, or just grab the class. All right, so oops. Oh, okay. Okay, so the following arguments are required upstream. All right, so we gotta add this. So util, so committing to util Python. Oops. Um, okay. Oh, we can just use our handy dandy comment that we just wrote. Grab data class, class if instance passed given. So we're telling it that we're making a commit for util Python, saying for this resolve forward ref, so util colon Python colon space resolve forward ref data class colon space grab data class if instance given data class. So fix for instances not being able to be passed since the class is what has the qual name. Okay. So why are we still seeing that we have to add the upstream? Type class, non-type default, system context applies to overlays. So type the system context which created this system context. Okay, so here we go. This is the help text for so this is the help text for upstream. right? And we're seeing it several times. So field data class equals config. So if field dot name equals upstream, then we want to breakpoint. Right, so what the hell happened, basically? Okay, arg. Okay, and what is add from is this. Parse args, add subs. Okay. How does, okay. Am I missing something? Why are these upstreams not populated? Following arguments are required. Upstream. Following arguments are required. Upstream. So this stinks for whatever reason. So system context upstream equals. So is system context system context? Okay, so okay. Mm. Following arguments are required. So somewhere here. So I wonder if it got into here. Position list. If not, default in arg. Okay. Config is this system context config. So why doesn't it have a default set? So mkarg field. Okay. Okay, so we need to say default base. Okay, so we need to say if we are dealing with something that is a instance, then yeah, so if we're dealing something with something that's an instance, we should just go ahead and set the default. So if missing type not in field default, missing type default factory if so, and then finally, so first if there's default, set it as if there's default factory, override, make sure it's whatever the default factory is, and then finally, if you find in fact that the if not inspect or if is instance inspect or data class um, data classes dot data class default equals, so basically, or if not inspect dot is class data class. So if so arg default equals get attr data class field dot name in the event that we are dealing with an instance instead of a class. Uh, use the value from the instance. Breakpoint over here. Oh shit. What just happened? I love this. What happens? What happens if we drop the help? Oh no, it is. That is what the help dropped. So why did it not just run? This version. It doesn't know what to do with this information. Let's see. Hmm. Right, so okay, so version equals alice. So then this is the CLI command here. Okay, so and up here we see that basically it's not running it. So we need to say add subs method if is instance. Add subs usage alice version. Okay. Okay, yeah, so it's just giving us alice version. Okay, so why, now the question is why isn't it running it, right? So, okay, it probably doesn't know what to do with it. But this run CLI command should not have taken care of it. Okay, so command, so if not, okay, I bet it'll jump in here. Yep, there it is. Okay, so basically, yeah, it says this, it says you don't have a run function. What's up? Oh, command L. Okay, so if not, so and not uh, okay, and not s. There's that command. Okay, so yeah, so if it's not a system context, then display the help cell. Right, and use command type. Not sure what to do with command. Um, operation exception. Okay. And use command type. Not sure what to do with. So 206. Okay, if not inspect. Oh, hey, have we not made it to this function before? It's subclass. Okay, so that's why this is important. Yeah, so you gotta check if it's a class and if it's a subclass. If you're okay. System context is now attribute reuse. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh. Mm, self-config reuse item. System context object has no attribute reuse. TF memory enter. Self OTX parent. Data flows OTX. So we create a subflow. System context has no attribute. So we say subflow command diff. This is actually, I've been up for almost 24 hours. I have not slept much the month of May. Okay, we're gonna call, no, okay. Mm, come on, let's get it running. There's no attribute reuse. Come on, come on. System context object has no attribute reuse. Line self subflow command. Okay, I think we need to go into diff. df base and they say def subflow. Okay, here's subflow, and it's supposed to take a data flow. So cell.octx parent. Okay, read df high level data flow. Okay, so this run takes. Okay, so orchestrated overlay. I think this should be done in subflow as well, or this should be a thing here. So basically, subflow. Okay, so we need to add support to overlays. The subflow overlay optional. Uh, data flow. Optional data flow. Overlay optional data flow. Yeah, okay, so overlay can be a data flow directly, or it could be a system context which returns a data flow. But yeah, it's default flow. Or it could be a system context that when, yeah, I think, this should be, we should say, okay, so we should say, okay, come on, okay. Yeah, so let's do, to do alice, also accept system context for overlay, run default, run provisioning, or run deployment, and deployment overlay to produce data flow to be overlaid. Or to apply as overlay. Okay. Okay. Okay, so CTX, okay. So that goes down here basically. Okay, so, and overlay context, then apply. Oh god.